Alright, I should be back. Once you fucked up the power of the home block you lived in, how? Like, what did you do? Huge sparks flew. What? What did you do? Did you... Did you like stick a fork in? You connected the two pins. Third party. So you took the two pins at the end of the power of the cable and you connected them. Wow. Yeah, okay, that can mess something up, but if you have something that's properly like an outlet and used anywhere, and if you can stick it somewhere in, it can't do anything bad. Man, that's dangerous.
The bang bang boogie and the rhythm of any hip hop, and you don't stop.
I mean, the only was smart enough not to not do it while holding any metallic part. At least that. My grandma actually had an accident back in the Soviet Union with a electric outlet that wasn't that was kaput, as it were. My mom once said that she can still sometimes see what happened. Like, it must be traumatizing for a little kid to see your mother spazzing on the ground. Luckily, nothing really happened, but the doctor over there said that she must have a very strong heart because, in his medical opinion, she should have been, well, not alive. But there she is, still alive and kicking. Oh. I mean, my grandmother was saved by my grandpa because the other people in the house didn't know what to do, and he heard screaming from the shocked people. That sounded like a pun, wasn't to be one. And took a stick and just, you know, threw the cable away. Used his level belt as a whip. Wow. I mean, it wasn't my traumatic story. My God, I had a pretty sheltered life outside of the Soviet Union. I mean, there were 2 times where I felt I would almost drown. One of them was particularly scary, and one of them was really stupid. No, I didn't fall, but I did almost drown. I felt like I was about to drown. I'm not saying that I was about to drown. I say that in that moment I was thinking that I would be drowning. You didn't drown, Roland. You didn't drown. That's the thing. Otherwise we wouldn't be communicating right now. That's the important part. My case is, you passed out, damn. Did someone pull you up? I guess, or what happened? Wow. Damn. That's pretty heavy. Yeah, you're dead, alright. Good thing. You had to be, actually... Wow. Damn. What an asshole. Not your dad, obviously. My stories are a bit more stupid. Both actually, but one more than the other. One of them was when I was 5 years old. Your stepmom was so close to drowning once that she saw light in it. Damn. Yeah, my mom doesn't swim. She doesn't like water because of something involving jumping off a bridge into water and the water not being very clean. My story is my first story. I was 5 years old and I had those air thingies on my arm. I don't know what they're called because I couldn't swim yet. My sister, who's 6 years older than me, so she was a young teen at that time, thought it would be funny. The air thingies, yeah. Thought it would be funny to steal those from me and go into the relatively deep water, like not in the deepest water, but still too deep for me to stand in. And I was upset. And I followed her into the water that I couldn't stand in without my air thingies, without the ability to swim. Obviously my parents were around and they helped me out, but I did feel like drowning that moment. Recently I talked with my sister about that. It's now 20 years ago. And she only remembers that she thought it was funny. So yeah, that's the first time I felt like I was drowning. The second time I feel like was actually a little bit serious. And again, it involved something round with air in it. But this time it wasn't one of those things you put in your arms, because I was already a teen. But at that swim park, they had those donuts, like tires. It was the belly air thingy. Pretty much, yeah. The air donut. Bell's double airbag swims floats. Floaties, that's one. Floaties. One of those air donuts. And you know, a lot of people sat in them. Some people put them over themselves and chilled just in the water. I had one around me, and it was a pretty big tire. Like, it couldn't even grab the water if I stretched my arm over it without a lot of effort. So, the inevitable happened, and I flipped. So, I went from being like this to this in seconds. And the donut was pretty... It was pretty tight around me. I actually couldn't get out of it because I was panicking. So I was struggling there for a good chunk of seconds. It felt like minutes, but obviously that's not true. For what felt like an eternity, I couldn't get out. I mean, I did say I felt like I was drowning, but obviously I managed to get out of it and resurface next to it. The thing is that really made me scared, basically, for my life, was actually afterwards, because I was looking around and not a single person in the entire building was even looking in my direction. I could have drowned in the middle of a swimming park, or whatever it's called in English, and nobody would have noticed until it was too late. That was scary. I stay the hell away from those things. Yeah, it's just... I mean, most people drown because... in most situations like that the people that do unfortunately drown panicked. I've also heard a story about not being helped. I mean, I also have another story where I felt like dying even though I was perfectly safe. And that one is 6 months old. Like, that really, like, no chance in hell that I was in danger. Damn. Yeah, that's how the water gets you.
Okay, that's good? Y'all got it? You guys good? Jason okay? Mike okay?
This song is weird. Yeah. Blah blah. Stop it. Stop saying sorry. Stuff like this. Yeah. Yeah, I was in a similar situation, not with mattresses, but I don't know how you call it in English, but if a lot of people throw themselves onto each other, like a pile of men and kids, women, whatever, doesn't matter. I was at the bottom of one, and that's when I noticed that I apparently don't do well with enclosed spaces. Human piling. We call it, literally translated, a pig pile. In German. Schweinehaufen. At least where I live. Obviously there's probably different slang terms for stuff like that. Piling! Bunker? I don't know. Oh. Weirdly enough, I also have a story about me trying to avoid someone else and almost hitting another bike, and just with me crashing into the sidewalk, basically. Bunker! Alright. Bunker? Bunky? Bunker. Stomped it with both hands and needed a break. So... Damn. Shit. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I did see some situations in Hamburg where something did happen and someone did step up. Shit. The time that I tried to dodge someone with my bike caused one of my very few visible scars that violence or an accident. I mean, one time two people started arguing and fists started getting thrown in a manner that would indicate that they were about to fight, and a couple of people stepped between them. Stuff like that. I fell from the bike. It was downhill. And I fell against the, like, if you have a street, you sometimes have these small stone thingies, like just stuff like that, to so that people can put bushes and stuff like that in there. I fell in the direction where that stuff was, and my pinky, my right pinky that I used to protect my face from planting into the ground, slid again. Yeah, the curb. I don't know. Like one. Basically, it started coming from this direction and slid against this point here for a couple of centimeters. I don't know how long. Yeah, it hurt like hell. It actually tore off a couple of layers of my skin, basically. And I wasn't far away from my parents' house. Like, I only had to walk by 3 houses to get home. But it was hurting like hell, and they had to disinfect it, obviously. And that hurt like hell. And then we went to the, obviously, stuff like that always happens on Sundays and Saturdays. So obviously the local doctor wasn't open, so we had to go to the emergency room with my... It's so convenient that I actually can draw the stuff I'm talking about. Yes, yes it is. Nothing was broken, and they were... No, I wasn't in the emergency room. It's just when my brother had something like that, it was on the weekend. When my sister had something like that, it was on the weekend. If people I knew had something like that, it was on the weekend. Something I'm very glad I never saw is my brother had one accident as a youth, as a young boy, that I'm very glad I never saw. Concerning climbing on a tree and a very sharp piece of wood. A long, sharp piece of wood. Oh, I had one accident that I love telling because you can clearly see the scar, and most people don't realize it until I say it, even though it's right beneath my lower lip. Like, if these are my lips, the scar is here. I'm buried. Cher was doing it to me. Oh. What happened with you? Like, it stuck into you. Like with my brother, it was that the piece of stick rammed into his leg while he was climbing down and not catching his footing correctly, basically. With me, what happened was that I was very small, so I luckily cannot remember it. Like 3 years old, or whatever. Just had teeth. And I fell down. Like face planted. The problem was, apparently, for whatever reason, I put my bottom lip above my teeth. You were tipping on the chair and your head went into the table. Teeth going through the underside of the bottom. Damn. Yeah, I just tripped, landed on my chin, and my bottom teeth going through. No, probably my bottom teeth. I was like 3 years old. It's funny, this may sound mean, but usually each person is his own main character in his story, right? So I want to sound like intelligent NPGs, but it shakes you out of the sensation when you hear all these stories and people have similar experiences as a kid. Oh, you didn't remember either. Yeah. I have a different story with a scar on the back of my head where my siblings were trying to keep me out of their room, putting a chair, a table in front of the door, me trying to get by them, and that table had a very, very pointy corner. Broland, let's be honest, we are all NPCs in the Matrix. I also have some sort of scar on my forehead, but I have no idea where that's coming from. And oddly enough, I had one on my leg that my mother told me, oh, that's one of those scars that will never get away, never be gone. You will always see that. You can't see it anymore. Like, that one apparently didn't get the memo. Like, it was trying to prove her wrong. No, I can vanish. Red or blue pill, Broland? I would ask what happens if you take both. What if I take both? Will I wake up in my bed and like nothing else happened, and outside the Matrix? That's the real question here. Oh, the 6-month-old story. I mean, I told it already once, but I can tell it again. It's not really a big story. It's we were climbing. We were in Austria. And on the pretty much the last day. No, you didn't write it. I'm the kind of jerk who says something like, oh yeah, there was this one time, and then doesn't say anything until someone says, so go on. Like it's basically a does anyone even care check? But no, it's just I'm incredibly afraid of heights. It's one of those things that I simply can't get over. One of the few things that I'm irrationally afraid of is heights. When we were in Denmark a couple of years ago, we climbed one of those light towers? Is that the correct word? Irrationally, not rationally. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm actually in danger. The height gets me. Like phobia, basically. I'm afraid of heights. We were climbing one of those light towers, and shit, man. I did go up there, but I was shivering the entire time. So in Austria, we were wandering around with my family and my brother, my father, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law, my mother, and all the kids that are around. On the last day, we decided, hey, let's climb the actual mountain here, the Rote Flue, to be exact, is what we climbed. And I was pretty slow. I'm not the fittest guy. Definitely, I mean, you did see me on stream maybe. I'm a bit wider than most people, to say it in a very, very nice way. What? Die Rote Fly? Oh, no. Die Rote Flue. Wait. Or the Rote Flue. The, that's the name. Basically, Roland. I mean, I wrote it here. Where are you going? It's not English, Berminator. Rote Flue. Like, red, I don't know what a flue is in English. I don't even know what it is in German. LAN party. Nice. Well, have fun. And yeah, we reached the top. It took quite a while. Brother-in-law and father had to wait for me a couple of times because, as I said, I'm not the fittest. I was kind of sad about that, but I had to take a lot of breaks because I was just... Damn, I was exhausted. And we were on the top of it, and the last part you actually have to climb. There's a part, if you stand in front of it, it looks like this. Basically, but rougher with more stones on the side. But it's basically a tunnel that goes up. So you have to climb through it on all fours. And that was a lot of fun. It was really fun. I loved doing that. It was exhilarating in a way. Then we reached the top. I was looking around. It was beautiful. On my Instagram I actually posted a couple of those pictures because damn. And then I looked at my brother and you know what I just realized? I'm afraid of heights. Or not, I realized it was just... I remembered. And everything went downhill from there. Like, not literally, because we were at the top of the mountain, but we reached the cross at the top. Like, every mountain has its highest point is symbolized by a cross in Austria, at least. I don't know if that is everywhere. And my brother was so nice and went to the edge. Like, for me it was the edge of the mountain. Like, it goes downstairs from there, more than a kilometer from there to the house we were living in for that week. And he jumps because unknown to me, it wasn't exactly the edge. There was it went basically like that for a bit. But I only could see this edge, so he jumped like that, very deliberately to deliberate words. Words are hard. And yeah, that I physically cringed. And then he did it again. It's funny now, it wasn't funny then. And yeah, we had someone take our photo. And then I sprinted away from the edge and started... yeah, he jumped again. Like, as I showed, it had a couple of ledges before it actually went down. So yeah, after that I basically hyperventilated, almost, after I sat down and tried to calm down. Yeah, that's my story of how I climbed a mountain. It's not the best kind of story, because if I did that, knowing that I had fear of heights, it would have been like one of those I faced my inner demon stories, and that's cool and stuff, but I kind of forgot. Incredibly enough. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are, obviously, but I really panicked up there. I didn't expect that. Usually it's just like, oh, I'm afraid of heights, I can't jump from the 3-meter board at the swimming place. Okay, I'm going to look this up. What's a swimming pool? But it's not really a swimming pool if it's indoors, is it? Whatever. I mean, I guess it's right, but it doesn't feel right. Because we in Germany actually use swimming pool. Or at least we use pool sometimes. for something, well, different, like the open air part. You call it bassin or pool? Bassin or a bussin? Or oh, my French for some reason. Bassin. Probably not that one. I hope. By the way, forgot to ask yesterday. You mentioned, I think you mentioned SSSS Comic Con. Stand still, stay silent. So you read it? In the Swimmerhall, I suppose. You jump in. Yes, exactly. We have Schwimmbad, like swimming. Bathtub, I guess. Oh, you did not? Alright. I mean, it's just, it's very efficient, like, you don't need a new word because it's almost the same, but it's just bigger. Like, you don't need to invent a word like pool for it. XXL jacuzzi, exactly. I might have mentioned this comic already, but ever heard of Scandinavia and the World? It's a gag-based comic from a woman from okay, you're at the beginning of SSSS. I love the beginning part, so gag comic sounds dirty. Like gag based, like it's a joke. I guess a gag in the sense that yeah, right. 9 gag, exactly. But I guess gag as a joke comes from the idea that if you tell someone a joke and they were just taking a sip from coffee or whatever, and you tell them that joke, there's a high probability that they gag because they swallow the drink into their lungs. I just realized that that's probably where that comes from. I mean, obviously I don't have proof for that to be the actual case, but it does sound reasonable. Maybe. Scandinavia and France, I think. Wait, let me actually... And the world, sorry. It's Scandinavia and the world. satwcomic.com. It's not a good website, but... yeah. Like every country is symbolized by one character. So Sweden is one character, Denmark is one. But then there are cases like where Denmark has a sub-character that only represents Christiania, I don't know. A place where I don't even know if it exists in the same way that I once learned about it. Because I've heard something about rules getting harsher there or something. But I don't know. Well. Well, what? The police is trying, but it's been like that for 40 years. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I understand. Went to their 30th birthday. Oh! Did they do something special? I mean, from what I heard, I'm imagining it be like, free weed for everybody! Insanely crowded, damn. I mean, I guess it's a special occasion. I would love to visit it once. Just, I don't know, look around. Pretend to film someone selling drugs, get beat up for real, stuff like that, you know. I heard that they really don't like getting filmed. That it's kind of a faux pas. Music, fireworks, and partying all over the place, even outside Christianity. I was like, 1 to 2 inch layer of trash. Shit. I would have hated to be there on that day, I guess. Oh, right. I guess my info was only partially true then. From my teacher back in Gymnasium. You once ran on Pusher Street, or the Pusher's Yard. We don't run on Pusher Street. It makes us look suspicious, you doof! Wow. You know, that sounds like a parody from, like something in a comedy book, not from real life. It was a commonly accepted thing that people don't run on Pusher Street. Obviously, the pushers don't want people to run for several reasons, one of them being that they want to push their material onto the passerby, but the other is that if someone's running, they can only assume that it's because of police. If it's not police, it's like someone getting fire in a crowded building. You just don't do that. I could imagine something like that being written in a Terry Pratchett book, or whatever. Terry Pratchett. Such a fantastic author. Ah. I mean, isn't it more conspicuous if it happens at night? But yeah. I actually have a funny story that only works in German to tell about running. I mean, I would assume that it's that the people are open-minded. At least in some sense. And hopefully more chill, because, you know. In German there are several words we use for running and going, walking. Depending on where you live. Like, normally, for me, it's only Pusher Street that is a crazy place. I would assume so. Normally, for me, in German, I would say gehen. Oh, you had it in 5 to 6 years. But did you learn that some people say gehen, like walking, but others say laufen for walking. But I say laufen for running. Gehen, to walk, exactly. Like, for me, gehen is slowly walking. But others run, basically, if I walk. You're not good. I mean, it's fine. You don't need to know German, really. Unless you live in Germany, I guess. Laufen. Like this. So there's... Okay, so... There's... Gehen. Laufen. And... Rennen. Among others. For me, this would be normally walking. Laufen would be like running. And Rennen would be even like running, but even faster. But for some, these Laufen is their Gehen. And when they want to say my version of Laufen, they say Rennen. So, now that I set that one up, imagine my surprise when I didn't really know that, and I was in Berlin. I had to catch up with my classmates because we were on a class trip, and I had to tie my shoes up. You say Gä, then Lunter, and then Lober. Huh. Yeah, I guess it's similar. I mean, we have sprinting is another word, obviously, but those are the three main ones I would say. So I was running, I was laufing, Löber. Okay. Behind my classmates, and a security guy, pretty chill dude, yelled, "Hey, laufen, nicht rennen." So, to me, he said, "Hey, run, don't run." Like he wanted me to run instead of running. And I stood dead in my tracks, looked at him, until I realized that he meant that I should be walking. Oh, you sprinter as well. Yeah. So yeah, that was a weird experience. I realized what he wanted me to do, but I was very confused for a couple of seconds. I don't think that's even possible in English. That just shows how weird the German language is sometimes. Like that sort of misunderstanding, I mean. I also heard a story of someone moving to a different part of Germany with their parents and everything, and their gym teacher, like their sports teacher, told them to run a couple of rounds, like laufen. So she started to walk, and he was very agitated about that, apparently. You have a common Danish joke. Probably works better in Danish, maybe you know it. Maybe I know it, I guess. The teacher says, if you're going to run in here, it's outside. Meaning stop running, go outside. But the way to say it is return. I mean, I get it. Sayings are kind of weird sometimes. But yeah. By the way, do you have in Danish something that that people get annoyed by if you say it because it's not originally Danish, it's English, but in the Danish language, like makes sense in German. Originally, we said it literally translated. That equals sense. That equates sense. It like it's math for some reason. But because of English movies and translators being lazy, they, instead of saying try to say it in German. Das ergibt Sinn. Because of lazy translators, basically, they translated makes sense instead of being ergibt Sinn. to be Machtsinn. It didn't equate sense, it made sense because it was literally translated from English. And suddenly we had a lot of movies where people said in German that it made sense, which was grammatically incorrect in a way. But it stuck because popular culture brought it into the mindset. And at this point, we actually have it in the German dictionary, in the Duden. So we can now say that it makes sense, even though it used to be wrong. But language is a flexible thing, stuff like that. And that's something that a lot of people don't like. Like, I know at least 2 people who often tell people, be it me or someone else, when I say it makes sense, they tell me, no, it equates sense. Stuff like that. I usually tell them, no, not anymore. The language shifted. Which they don't accept. Oh, it's this song. Gonna skip it. Skip it. The best one you know is Donuts in Simpson. For many years it was called Munkeringe. Munkeringe? I don't know. Meaning monk rings, circles. Huh. In Danish it's also called donuts. The reason was that the sub-translators get the subs in Swedish, having to translate it to Danish. Swedes make a lot of not English words, as they are very protective of their language. Huh. Interesting. So, the Danish people say donut, but the Swedes say something else, and because of that you had a different translation? Am I understanding that correctly? Munkeringe, I would say. That's how I would say it if I didn't know how to say it. Munkeringe. Munkeringe. Munkeringe? Is it 2 words, basically? That actually reminds me of one of my favorite translation errors from The Simpsons. In English, if someone sneezes, you say, bless you. Pretty much everyone knows that. The Danish subs were wrong for many years as the translators didn't know the word apparently. Oh, interesting. So you say bless you, which can also mean that God bless you. Obviously, that's where it comes from. If someone sneezes, you say them bless you, so, you know. That's how that works. Most people know that. Even my parents know that. But apparently, too many people know that. A sort of cake very similar to donuts called Berliner. You mean Berliner? I mean, we call it Berliner. Even my parents, yes. Like, it's basically a thing with sugar on top and something inside, like marmalade. Even my parents know it. Yes, the thing with jam in the middle. Yeah, we call that Berliner. I'm guessing that Berlinere comes from Berliner. Although, yeah, Berliner, right, yeah. People from Berlin, don't call it that, I heard. They call it basically pancakes, if I'm correct. What I would say is a pancake, they call the Berliner. Oh yeah, the translation error. So, Milhouse talks with Bart about the soul. It's one of the oldest episodes. And Milhouse asks Bart if there is no soul, as Bart is claiming. Why do people say a couple of things? Among them, Berliner Pfannkuchen. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they say Berliner. They say Pfannkuchen. That's from the Danish wiki. Huh. Funny. But everyone outside of Berlin says Berliner. So he says, why do people say bless you if there is no soul? In the German translation, he does say that. He does say, why do people say bless you? Thing is, they translated it so it wasn't about the soul aspect of bless you. It was about bless you if you sneeze. In German, that's Gesundheit, which literally means a health. Because in German the thought is, if someone sneezes, you wish them something. You wish... If you sneeze, I say Gesundheit, which means you sneeze and I wish health upon you. Basically, that's the thought. So instead of saying, why do people say bless you? He says, why do people wish health upon you? In a way. And yeah, ever since I saw that, I realized that translators aren't perfect in all circumstances. You say Prosit to people who sneeze. Huh. I would say Prosit, Prosit. That's more like, let's drink. Like, I don't know, Prost, Skull, Cheers. That's what I think of if I read Prosit. I don't know why, it's just, that's what I think. It's very far from how it works in Danish. Funny. I don't even know if people use it that way. It's just, for some... I guess it's, Prosit, right? If you take away the I, you have Prost, which is the German way of saying cheers. So... So there's that. I love talking about the difference between language, but I often wonder if that isn't kind of boring to people watching. So... Triple! Hey, Mikey. What do you mean, triple? You think it's nice? Well, that's somewhat reassuring. You don't know? Triple. Hey, Mikey. Are you back? From, the things you did? The things you did. I can't forgive... No, wait. Wrong scene. Yes, good. How was good. He only missed us talking about near-death experiences and German and Danish words. And now that you're here... Dude, you almost died just now. What? I hope you're joking. So, now that you didn't miss my stream and you're there, I'm going to end it. Sorry, no, I won't do that. This is a weird reggae mix. Oh yeah. Sorry I skipped that because I really want to listen to this now. I love Tropico. Is this a new comics? So... You're trying to translate something you want to say, but you don't know how. This comic, Mikey, will be our pitch for Patreon. Like, I don't know if you ever... I don't know how often you visited a Patreon account, but basically some people have nothing on there because they don't need it. But some, a lot of them have a video where they explain, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, thank you for listening. Yeah, it's just, you won't get anything from it that, I hope at least, that feels like I'm trying to, I don't know, force you to pay for stuff or whatever. I don't know. I don't think anyone really does that, you know. But, yeah, this is what this comic is about. It's telling, hey, look, we are two brothers, Michael and Christian. We both love comics and we want to create comics. Now, currently we are not doing it professionally, but if you like our comics, you could help us get to that at some point. You know. Like one thing that could become a reality at some point is that I hire someone to color the comic for me. Because that's the part, or at least flatten it, or at least or draw the background, something like that. You better start practicing. Well, I already have someone in mind, someone I work with at Daedalic that is currently working freelance. So, he might be able to do that at some point. Rejected! Yeah, I mean, also, even if you're like the perfect guy for the job, Mikey, we live on opposite sides of the world. It's kind of difficult to work like that. You want to say that, if you ask me, just talk about the stuff that I'm interested in. Try to say it in a more nice way, but I'm lost in touch. No, I get it. It's just I do talk about the stuff that I like. It's just at the same time I don't want to bore you, you know. I'm the kind of guy who worries a lot, and sadly I'm also the kind of guy who talks about the stuff that worries him a lot. Worrying is alright, but talking about it as much as I do is it's a bad habit of mine. You know, let me do something. Your little figure idea was stolen. Trademark, you owe me it. A trillion schmackers? Oh no! This is actually the one of the main characters from my other comic that we kind of put on hold for now. Vincent is his name. So right now you aren't able to request songs, but since you're not doing that anyway, I thought why not, because this video that is currently playing is the Tropico 5 1-hour OST mix, so it's, yeah, an hour long. Yeah, it's by the way. I only have the 2. So far. Seeker's Log and by the way, I mean. You already knew you couldn't. But you would if you could. But you couldn't. Like, in this part of the comic we are saying, look, we've been creating a comic for over 7 years, called By the Way, it's only available in German. This is how the characters look. Who's the puppet master? Well, the guy behind them is me. So it's obviously Metallica. When we make money and I can hire someone to make a 3D model of Hotaru. I mean, I would love to hire a 3D artist actually to make like models of the spaceships that I design. By the way, you watched my stream from yesterday evening? Yeah. Maybe I should make a Seeker's Log Hotaru cover art. Comic style. You mean like for the front page? On like American comics? Google search how to make a 3D figure of Hotaru. If you're lucky, you find out how to make a firefly in Blender. Exactly, that's the idea. Just because it's often more detailed in time and more time spent making the cover art. I mean, yeah, but where would I even put that? Like right now, we don't have any concrete plans to print or whatever. So, I don't know. Maybe someday. But, I mean, I would, if we ever went to print, I would try to get some other artists, just as a fan service. I would try to get other artists to do the cover art, because that's actually something I really like about American comics, that different artists work on the cover every time, or a lot at least. but I'll think about it. I'm still thinking about, I mean, this is for Patreon. What would I give the people that give me, me and my brother, $10 a month? It's a brilliant idea, thank you. Well, let's see. I mean, I drew the My Hero Academia fan art yesterday because pretty much everything I draw is Seeker's Log. Hotaru sticker, something exclusive like cover art. I thought maybe like I'll draw a piece of fan art every week, like I did yesterday. And if you give me, if you are in that tier, you are able to decide what I draw. I mean, it could be Seeker's Log, for whatever reason. Or sketches, like I would do one of those request streams, and yeah, like paid requests. But basically, you can maybe decide what kind of challenge I put myself in, and sketches. But I'll send you the file afterwards, so you don't have to go into the stream and crop out everything and have a shitty version of whatever you wanted. Stuff like that, like paid sketches, basically. So I would do, I don't know, every Friday or whatever, I would do a fan stream, basically, a Patreon stream in a way. Maybe some exclusive story with a background story of one or more characters. Well, I mean, that's pretty big, isn't it? Like, if I understand that like I would have to draw pages. That's huge. I mean, we could do something like put you in the comic. Actually, that's not bad. Yeah, but I mean, that's why I'm thinking about it. Like, for $5, I thought I could just, yeah, it's background characters. Yeah, it is a thin line. So, thing is, what do I know? I'm not the person that is considering giving me money for whatever reason you would do that. I know that one writer, no, not a writer, but I can't remember, some artist, he had a tier where you would appear somewhere in the background. And another tier that was like 3 times as costly was you would be shown dying in the story. And those were a lot of people who wanted that. And I can understand that. Imagine a show like Game of Thrones. And you could be in it. Shown just a couple of seconds, but being stabbed by one of the main guys or whatever. I guess everyone thinks about Game of Thrones as soon as character death comes up. Even someone like me who doesn't watch the show or reads it. I haven't seen it, yeah, me neither, but everyone knows it. Or if you were one of the undead in the undead burg in Dark Souls, if he could have your face, how awesome would that be? Can you choose your death or is it just random? I don't think you can choose it. It's just, yeah, I'll show you dying at some point. I mean, my brother doesn't plan on having a lot of people dying in our comics, so we can't really offer that. So far! You want to die from eating, that's for sure. Dying from choking on food. You don't even have to eat a lot to do that. I once heard a statistic, and statistics make sometimes sound ridiculous, like more people die in a year by choking on a hot dog than people die in a year by shark attacks. That's a real statistic I read once. I've heard that before. Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously the reason that that statistic exists is because more people are around sharks, less people are around sharks than cows or hot dogs. Exactly. Like, you don't want to know how many people die just because they are in the ocean, just water. Like, if you're already in the ocean, you have bigger problems than sharks most of the time, sadly. As Bruce Lee once said, water can flow, water can crash. Water is a force to be reckoned with, for sure. I mean, pretty much everything from that's nature is ooh. Is did I not finish my sentence? I don't know. I mean, wind, water, fire, all those things can turn lethal at any given moment in certain circumstances. Is it possible to see what my brother looks like to understand the page you're doing? I mean, it looks like this, obviously. Actually, we got a video that is not recent. Yeah, I know. 1 second. We might have deleted it. Oh. One second. I'm gonna check something. I don't know where we upload this. Oh, maybe on my brother's channel. Alright, so this video is 7+ years old. It's both of us in my parents' office, or like from my father. Talking about By the Way comic. Obviously, we both look pretty different at this point. He has short hair. Yes, he's my older brother. I'm 9 years younger. 2-pixel potato camera. Basically. I'm the guy on the left, just in case. I don't have a beard in this video. And, yeah. In the meantime, my brother had 2 kids, about to have his 3rd child, and doesn't have his long hair anymore. I mean, I do look a bit different. 1 second. This is me. Yeah. let's switch back. You were listening really closely and wondering why you didn't understand Jack until you looked into the description and realized this was acted out by trolls that pretend they say anything. What? I'm sorry it's not in English, but that's all I got. Yeah, I understand, Mikey. I understand. So yeah, we got pretty similar hair, for example, the way it curls and stuff. Another question, saw some kind of figure on your desk and was wondering what it was. You mean just now? You're just imagining that, Mikey. Not in this stream, but an older one. Some figure. Do you mean, this? I don't know. The hand. Hello. Because other than that, I don't have wooden figures. Aside from the finger. Maybe it's the thing you put on. Oh, yeah, that's possible. This is an easel. That's the correct word. Because the new nice setup. Thank you. The new tablets by Wacom don't have those 4 holes in the back for my Ergotron arm, so I did a do-it-yourself method by binding a small easel in the onto that end. Basically, I didn't think about that on my own. Don't worry, I'm not that crafty. I saw someone do it in some blog. Maybe I'm also not that smart, but anything related with handiwork is just beyond my capabilities. I was horrible. I am horrible with anything related to craftsmanship, aside from drawing. Maybe, possibly. How did you get the sun inside the window at night? I have 2 lamps. And the camera is very sensitive to light at the moment. Set to be very sensitive, I mean. technology and lights. Do I use the wooden hand for poses? No. I mean, for one, it actually broke when I moved it, when I moved to this room. But two, I bought it when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around that, like 10 years ago. And I regretted the purchase within the same week, I think. There's actually a clip on Twitch. Like, if you look at the clips of my channel, you might still find the clip where I explain why this wooden hand sucks. It's useless, in my opinion. Someone out there might have a use for it, but I couldn't see it. Especially since it's not even real. I mean, it is a wooden hand. So it's supposed to be for art and stuff, obviously. I bought it in an art shop, but it's just bad. It sucks. It sucks so badly. Don't bother even thinking about that hand. You don't understand. Alright, so quick explaining. The hand, a real hand can look the way the wooden hand looks. Like this. But the one thing that most hands do naturally, if you use your hands, is they do this. Which you cannot do with the wooden hand. It only works in one axis, and that axis is toward, like, you can basically have a fist. This is the best that hand can do. But even then, you can't do something interesting because the thumb can't be moved to accommodate the fist being down. It only has, it's just not, it's not good. Especially since, 1 second. I downloaded these 3D models at some point. I never used them so far, so I don't know why. They were free, so whatever. It'll only take a minute. You can just write in the program, write in Manga Studio. Don't ask me why the skirt is lifting, why it has physics while rotating. Whee! Ah! Okay. I can use this hand. If my PC were to work with me. And this hand, hopefully, yes, this hand is actually capable of doing the thing the wooden hand couldn't do. Which makes this hand not only easier to put in your computer and everything, it's also easier for this to help you, you know. Yes, she has a Cintiq pen, or at least a Wacom pen. And outside of that, there's software called Design Doll. I think I already mentioned it. I don't know when I mentioned it, but I did mention it some time ago, this week or last week, where you can do that with more generic-looking characters, and have forced perspective and stuff like that. And there are so many things. And that software is free, by the way. And the wooden hand can only do like 5 things. 5 really different poses. Basically, in a way. Maybe a couple more. In the same way, I always hated the wooden mannequins that every artist seemed to have. That I tried out and noticed that it wasn't really helping me. Oh! I forgot to make this one. So I might actually stop in a minute or two. I mean, it's getting late. You know that as well as I do, Bear Minator. Bear. Mother used a wooden mannequin too. Don't know how useful it actually is. Let me see the pictures. Yeah. I mean, you can use it, but it's really... There's only so much you can do. If you have really expensive, a really expensive wooden figurine, you might have more play. And soon you use Design Doll. Nice. There are Japanese versions of wooden doll, basically, made of plastic. A couple of them, a couple of different ones. They even have detachable faces and stuff like that, so you can have and hands and things you can put in the hands. Might be able to get something out of those. Seed of Shaki. What? Isn't Shaki that killer doll? Ah, yeah. Never seen it though. Only saw I don't know, the Static Critic or whatever. Someone reviewed it once. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. It's almost 11 PM. I've been streaming for 2 hours since I took my small break. Oh, can you? Sure, what do you want to request? Drawing braided hair. Requesting stuff is illegal. No, it's not. Depends. Like, there's a very easy way. Like, this. This is the base. But I can't really remember the details. You could, but some people draw it like hearts. I don't think that's right. Maybe it was hearts. Like, It's been a while since like for the character in the comic, the girl, whose name I shall not name. Basically, do it like this. In a way, not like this. It's late. Whose name you don't even remember. Because it wasn't said in the comic. I only said it like twice in some streams. I said her name accidentally before it was, but it's not been said in the comic. Haha. Wait, how do I draw her hair? Something like that. Man, you should ask someone else. Anyway, here I am again. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Saturday evening for me. Full face. It's been nice. It's been relaxing. Didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but that's always how it goes, I think. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I don't know if you heard that car. Someone was speeding through the... Damn. Yeah. I don't think I'll be streaming Monday and Tuesday. I'll have to see about that. Maybe in similar time frame as I do right now. But I... Probably not. Monday and Tuesday are pretty full. Wednesday I can do maybe a short one. I don't know. So we'll see each other probably on Thursday if unless I can squeeze something in between my schedule. Thank you everyone for hanging out again. Hope you again have a nice weekend. Hope you have a wonderful morning, a great afternoon, a nice evening, or a good night depending on where and when you are. My name has been Michael Epp, and it's been a pleasure streaming with you guys.